Everybody, hey, this is Dragon Con Goes Virtual, and you are on the American Sci-Fi Classics track right now.
Woo-hoo.
And what we are doing, we're welcoming you to the revolution in sci-fi convention technology. We have figured out a way to squeeze 20 panels into one single hour with, thanks to the Dungeon Master, Mike Dixon, this giant customized 20-sided die. It is larger than my cranium, which is saying a lot, guys. We are not going to take a minute to introduce everybody. Follow our socials. We'll put everybody's information out there, or look in the lower left corner. But here's what we do. I roll the giant D20, and someone amongst our co-director, Gary, would you say we have a plethora of panelists?
I would say we have a plethora of panelists, even though that movie is not on the die.
Not this year.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think you guys know what that word means.
And for it, provided the layout stays the way it is on my screen, the way this is going to work, everybody, Joe will roll the die, and 4 screens below me is Sue, and she will be our official timekeeper.
And we're going to do 2.5 minutes for each topic until we run out or when we get close to time, and then we'll do a lightning round for the classic sci-fi roller panel. The year we're talking about is 1985, and here we go. Oh my gosh. 1 is the first roll, and that is Return to Oz.
Oh dear.
Tom, I believe you called dibs on that one.
Yeah, my son's actually, it's already bedtime for him, so he missed out. But TikTok, the greatest robot ever. Sorry, Robbie, the TikTok. If you want a robot, that's the one you pick.
TikTok.
He runs on clockwork power, a real steampunk creation.
Yeah. The original costume actually now sits in an atrium up at Skywalker Sound. I've got a picture of it. See if I can add it in later. But yeah, the original costume is in a nice little atrium. We got a lot of light shining on it, a lot of greenery around it. I had to put it somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when it came out, it caused a huge controversy because it was a Disney movie. It's a sequel to a beloved classic, and it terrified children. That's the main thing I remember, was everybody going, oh my God, this movie's so dark. I mean, it opens up with Dorothy getting electroshock treatments because she's crazy about these stories from Oz.
So they balked at it?
Yeah.
So they balked at it?
I see what you did.
Also got to point out, folks, that this movie features a talking chicken.
Yes.
So really, what else do you need?
Wheeler. That's
but,
more terrifying than roller skating monsters.
yes, the wheelies.
And we're very, it is now on Disney Plus, so everybody can see it now.
That's
You
how
don't have to.
He's watched it 10 times and wanted to do a podcast. He said the same age it was when I saw it, has never given him nightmares. I don't know if I'm just more of a wimp or she's way more jaded for his age.
All right. Well,
All right.
Seconds, but I think we're done. So next roll.
Let's keep going. Number 14, Legend.
Oh my God.
Boo.
Mia Sarah from
gonna
Ferris
call it?
Bueller's Day Off. Mia Sarah, I love her.
Classic
Tim
Tim
Curry.
Curry.
Amazing in
Tim
it.
Curry.
Tim Curry and that black dress awakened so many nerds' sexualities.
Yeah.
Mommy, I'm confused.
Yeah. I have to say, I really wish there was a way to combine the director's cut and the original theatrical cut, because the director's cut puts like half an hour of plot back into the movie.
Yes.
But the original cut has the better soundtrack.
Because
Oh.
do you go with Jerry Goldsmith's score or do you go with the replacement Tangerine Dream score?
Goldsmith.
I would say always go Tangerine Dream. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're good.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, I love the Tangerine Dream soundtrack. It really adds to the feel to the movie for me.
Either way, can we just agree there's so much glitter in this movie?
It was 1985. They couldn't help it. It was a
That's all there
prerequisite.
was. Yeah.
Yeah,
SAG
you had to have
after
glitter.
demanded it. The SAG demanded it.
Yes. Unicorn. Didn't the Ringling Brothers have the unicorn bit during this time too? So it was the era of unicorns.
Yeah.
Well, who doesn't love a good unicorn? Unless it's uni.
Yes.
All right.
But yeah, it's worth watching for Tim Curry alone. Just
Oh yeah.
he
Anything
is
is
so-
worth watching.
That is true of everything Tim Curry is in though.
Exactly.
yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, and early Tom Cruise, as Tom is showing us down there.
Nice.
Yeah, but it's a gorgeous film. Ridley
And
Scott.
also a damn near impossible film to Google.
Yeah.
Oh, because everything says legend.
I was actually
It'll
trying
be
to track down
legendary.
the
Tim
1995
Curry.
TV show with Richard Dean Anderson and John Delancey, which is also called Legend, and
Didn't
all I got were
remember
hits
that.
on the '85 movie. It was very frustrating.
Yeah. You're like, look, MacGyver was not in this thing. Yeah.
You mean this?
Yes, that.
Oh,
Hey,
Good, all
Wow.
right.
I
John.
actually got this just
It
the other
scares
day.
me that you had that to hand, John, but I'm also not
It
surprised.
just came the other day.
Oh,
So they made a TV show
Sure.
out of the movie.
Yeah.
No.
It was on UPN.
Nothing to do with it.
Wonderful show. Wonderful. We'll have to talk about it some other time.
but it was 1996 or 1995.
All right. Here we go.
Okay.
quack.
All right. We are rolling
Everything
again.
quacked off.
Yay.
Number 10. Baby, Secret of the Lost Legend.
Another legend.
Kilo and Moambe.
And a terrible
William
looking
Cat.
dinosaur. What's not to love?
Exactly. Terrible
Somebody
looking
just say
dinosaur.
Italian
That was a
cat?
Disney movie.
It was a
Yeah.
Disney movie with a little brontosaurus. William Cat's in it. That's
Yeah.
where the cat comment
Oh,
comes from.
the greatest
Yes.
American hero.
Yes.
Mhm.
I know him.
Baby was a movie that as a kid I thought I was supposed to like.
Yeah.
And you were wrong.
I was like, well,
Chad
of course this
was
movie's made for
incorrect.
me.
Yeah.
And, it was not. I don't know who it was made for, but it wasn't made for me.
Yeah. I remember watching it as a 14-year-old going, this is crap. It's like
So
I'm trying to
slow.
get-
It is so slow.
I watched it for the first time last night and said, "What the hell?"
Wow.
Like this Brontosaurus is one of my kid toys, right? I love Brontosauruses. I was just like, no.
What was I thinking?
Yeah,
Chronologically, it falls kind
You know,
of
though-
midway between Jurassic Park and Land of the Lost, and the dinosaurs kind of
Yeah.
fit right there.
Yeah.
I'd go for a remake of it. There's a lot of potential in that script. It's just a big mess is the problem. Like the score was decent and the performances were okay. I think if Disney put money into remaking it and redoing the special effects to be better,
and stick a velociraptor in there or something.
maybe.
Didn't Pixar already do that?
Everything is better with a velociraptor.
Yeah, actually, Chad has a good point. They
There
did
are.
the good
They did.
dinosaur.
The good
They
dinosaur.
did-
Pixar did do the good dinosaur.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
There are reports of dinosaurs being found in the Congo, though, still. So there could
Yeah,
be a
Congo
remake
is
with
not on
an
this
actual
dive,
ship there.
Sherman.
yeah,
No,
Congo
not the
is
Congo.
Oh, God,
the movie,
Congo.
I know what you
the
meant.
actual Congo.
I know what you meant, Sherman.
He's trying to be real.
Oh, Amy. Oh, Amy.
I know what you
all
meant.
right. Joe,
All right.
Joe, just roll.
I'm doing it.
Baby the Lost Legend should have stayed lost.
Yeah. Number 18.
It's a lost cause.
Oh,
Mad
Mad
Max
Max Beyond
Tina
Thunder.
Turner. We
Nice.
do need another
Oh.
hero. We do need another hero.
Watertown.
Who runs
Watertown?
Two words.
That hair.
Two words.
Yes,
Master Blaster.
Yes.
Master Blaster.
10 panelists enter, 1 panelist leaves. 10 panelists enter, 1 panelist leaves.
No, Gary, that's if they actually did us all in the same room right now.
Well, yeah, that's true. But yeah, Tina Turner, great song, great performance from Gibson.
It was the first of the Mad Max movies where I could actually understand what he was saying the entire movie.
And he's never
That'll be the
looked back.
bear.
They got a budget. It seems like they got a budget for that one.
Yeah, but it still holds up. It's all the. I mean, I like all the Mad Max movies, and there's one the weakest of them is, I would say, the first one, but they're still all good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was a bit surprised when it ended because it just stops.
They ran out of plot.
Right.
They ran out of budget. They used the whole budget on the Thunderdome and her hair.
Yeah, I was about to say, and Tina's earrings.
Yeah, and the earrings. That was the whole budget.
It's actually first three Mad Max movies follow the same arc that the first three Evil Dead movies do. You know, the first one is low budget and terrible. The second one is pretty much redoing the first one with a slightly higher budget, and then the third one actually had a big budget.
That blockbuster feel.
Yeah.
I think you're pronouncing wonderful wrong.
I'm sorry. When do we have to fight about? We're going to let him get away with saying Evil Dead is terrible.
Yeah, that's
what I'm.
It was low budget. I mean,
he said low budget and terrible.
Yeah, we can sidebar that and fight about that in a different panel.
We will drag Keith to the horror track and throw him to the Deadites.
I haven't left my apartment in 5 months, but I will walk to Keith's and beat him up.
He's gonna end up in the past. He's gonna end up in the dark ages.
Sue, where's your Patreon so I can add to the funds for the Go Beat Up Keith?
Come on, I meant terrible in the best possible sense.
Video
is joyously terrible. It is wonderfully
video, or it never happened.
Don't tell Sam Raimi that. Call him up. Tell Sam Raimi that.
Okay,
Our first two contestants in the Thunderdome, Keith and Sue.
He's on Sue.
We don't need another hero.
I don't know. He's like a black belt or some business.
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't know, sure, I didn't.
Use your intellect.
You're scrappy, Sue. You can get him.
And if she uses her intellect, I'm screwed. So yeah.
See, exactly.
It'd be like Odd Job in GoldenEye. He just can't hit her.
Stick a move, Sue. Stick a move. Stick a move.
Hey, Joe, what's the next roll?
What's the roll, Joe?
Here we go. I already did it while y'all were about to start a fight with each other.
It's rigged. It's rigged.
Number 9, Red Sonja.
Yes.
Oh.
Sonja.
Now, I know there was some person who said they just watched this like yesterday.
That would be me. I watched, not yesterday, but I watched it for my superhero movie rewatch. Because technically, Red Sonja isn't a Robert E. Howard character. She's one Marvel basically made her up. Roy Thomas made her up for Marvel. This movie was trying so hard and so completely screwed it up. They didn't have the faith that they could do a movie focused on a strong female character, so they dragged Schwarzenegger, and he wasn't even playing Conan; he was playing some other schmuck. And
Conan.
and like at this point, Schwarzenegger had finally started to almost learn English, so they brought in Brigitte Nielsen, who hadn't. And so all the dialogue like feels a little off, and it was just. Ugh.
Yeah.
But it had its moments. There was some good action stuff in it. Sondel Bergman played the bad guy, and her acting was terrible, but the physicality was great. The final fight scene was phenomenal. But it didn't really. It felt like bad Red Sonja fanfic more than anything else.
Anybody else have some Red Sonja thoughts?
Now, in my personal headcanon, talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger, I maintain that he actually was King Conan, and he was traveling under an assumed name, Incognito.
That works.
I'll buy
Doesn't
it.
make the movie any better.
Sure.
But yeah.
You know, do with it what thou wilt.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, Joe, roll.
Do it again.
Y'all are
Number
flying
13, The Last Dragon.
Who's the Shogun of Harlem?
Show enough.
Who's the master?
Kiss my Converse.
I love this movie.
I love this movie too.
I have it right here. I got it. I got this movie. Here's the Blu-ray.
I have it on Blu-ray too.
Yes.
It is the most perfect combination of the 1970s and the 1980s that ever existed.
Yes. Yes.
Because it's got the hair, it's got the dewy-eyed romance, it's got the glitter, it's got the terrible clothes that make it 1980s, but it's totally a 1970s kung fu movie.
It's got El DeBarge singing "Rhythm of the Night."
Right.
I love that song. I didn't know that.
It's Enter the Dragon as a blaxploitation film.
Yeah, and it was Berry Gordy, the guy from Motown. He wanted to make a movie, and he didn't know how to make a movie, but he made a movie.
Yes.
He also
so this
doesn't
is
know
what
how
we
to
got.
make a Broadway musical, but he made one of those too.
You know what?
And the star, Timok, this is really what he's known for. This was his thing, and he didn't do a lot of acting beyond this. He was very young when they made this, and he
didn't do very much acting in it either.
I wasn't going to say it. But he was a fitness instructor, professional, like fitness instructor to the stars, and he's around. He does convention appearances and stuff.
Yeah.
And he has not aged in 35 years. He's in remarkable
He's got the
shape.
glow.
And he's got the
glow,
glow.
that's
yeah.
why.
Glow.
Yeah.
He's
Super
the last
nice
dragon.
guy too.
Was it a vanity project?
It was a vanity project. Yes. Nicely done.
Oh,
That was terrible.
Kick him out. Kick him out.
Bravo.
Sherman out.
Up next in the Thunderdome.
But the guy who the Shogun of Harlem went on to play Lord Bowler in the Adventures of Briscoe County Jr.
Yeah.
Who was actually the star of Briscoe County Jr. I don't care what anybody says.
Right.
This is the second strike against Bruce Campbell you've
Yeah,
made.
I was gonna say you keep.
That's the second Bruce Campbell
That
dig.
has nothing to do with Bruce Campbell. It has to do with Julius
saying.
Terry being awesome.
I got called out on Twitter by Bruce Campbell once because I just made an innocuous comment about how I kept forgetting that Ash versus the Evil Dead existed, and he retweeted, "This is how shows get canceled." And people are like tweeting at me like angry and threatening me and stuff, and I was like,
okay.
Maybe
All right,
it's also your marketing
so
team,
everybody at home who's watching, be sure to tweet at Bruce Campbell that Keith doesn't like him, so that
he'll retweet.
Man, I don't know you, Keith. I'm just going on the evidence in front of me.
All right, time is.
He hates Evil Dead. He thinks Evil Dead is terrible.
So I hope you're keeping track of what we've talked about.
Yes, I am.
Okay, cool.
All right.
'Cause I'm not.
Number 7, because me and Gary are super clever. Number 7 is 007. It's A View to a Kill.
Duran, one of my
Oh,
favorite
Duran
Duran
Duran,
songs.
yeah.
I love that
baby.
song. I was 14 and I was like, I want to be a spy. I'm going to Paris.
it is the final capstone in the Moore era, and it's got a few things. I mean, it's got Grace Jones, it's got Chris Walken. But that's high points for this movie are hard to find.
Yeah, it starts out as this horse thing and then goes to Silicon Valley. And you're like, how do horses? I don't know. I give up.
And this is where
Don't try to follow the plot of A View to a Kill.
Right.
It's not.
and this is where Roger Moore was looking a little long in the tooth to play.
I love that movie. I love that movie. It is terrible, but Bond movies are at their best when they're real good or real bad.
Yeah, that's true.
The middle Bond movies are garbage. The View to a Kill is as bad as like From Russia with Love is good.
Yeah.
And I love that moment. I love that moment where he says, "Do me a favor, go down to the basement of my dirigible."
So many blimps in that movie. So many blimps.
Just keep going down.
He's into horses, he's into microchips, and he's into blimps.
Yeah. Yeah. My favorite thing about it also is the music video for the Duran Duran song, for the title song. At the very and it's the Duran Duran being spies, and my favorite bit is at the very end when the lady goes, "Who are you?" He goes, "Le Bon, Simon Le Bon."
I know. It's like
Makes my heart jump this day.
Yeah.
I love
I think Grace Jones as a secret agent is just she's gonna stick out. She's gonna stick out. I don't know why you'd send Grace Jones on covert missions.
That's not super secret. Yeah.
It was Europe.
Yeah, she's so
Everybody
subtle.
in Europe looked like that in 1985.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got,
Joe?
Joe?
Sticks out anytime, anywhere.
All right, number 8. Clue.
Tim
Best movie made on
Curry.
a game ever.
Oh my God, I love this so much. 5 different endings. How many are different endings?
No, there's three. There were 3
Three.
released, and there was a 4th that was filmed, but it's still never been released.
Do we know who did it in the 4th one?
It's if you look in the little brown envelope, it tells you who did it.
Okay.
No, but
Aaron, I want you to feel this.
Aaron wins.
in the 4th ending, supposedly Wadsworth did it, and he poisoned everybody's champagne. And Howard Hessman's televangelist comes back, and they wrestle, and he gets away. And he gets away in the car, and one of the dogs is in the back of the car with him, and the dog, and then cut to black.
So good.
But there are photographs of this sequence, but there's never been any footage of it released. So, and there's like internet legends that it got shown once on cable television, but I've never seen footage of it. I'd love to, you know.
We need to talk to Martin Ball, Tim Curry. Who else is still alive?
Do it as an animated voice acting.
Lauren, Leslie Ann Warren.
Yeah,
All
I think
right.
she's alive.
She's alive.
Michael McKean.
Michael McKean.
Yeah.
Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah, they
We're
keep
going to
talking
jinx
about-
all of them.
Stand down.
Everybody stop saying names of actors.
It's got so many great lines. I'm not shouting. I'm not shouting. Okay, I'm shouting.
Flames on the side of my head.
My favorite bit about that is that was an ad lib. She actually forgot her line. If you watch Martin Mull behind her, you can see him just in awe of her, and they cut right as he breaks.
Oh man, I love that movie. That's one of the best movies in the world.
Oh yeah.
Final point.
What other movie can
The
you
girl
see?
from the Jane Wheedler from the
Sir Alec
Go-Go's.
Guinness.
Okay, Whedon.
Sherman?
Yeah.
Oh, what other
Okay,
movie
roll it.
can you see Lily von Stupp, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Dr. Johnny Fever in the same movie?
All in the same movie, yeah. All right.
Guinness in it.
One plus two plus two plus one.
All right. Natural 20. Goonies.
Yeah.
They're good enough.
Sean Ass. Yeah, Cyndi Lauper. That song is excellent. Chunk.
I mean,
Sean
Baby
Astin,
Ruth.
can we
Baby
discuss
Ruth.
how the generation
Come on, Will.
now
Baby
refers to Sean Astin as
Baby
the guy
Ruth.
from Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Oh.
Out of everything he's done, the guy from Stranger Things? Get off my lawn.
Why are they even watching Stranger Things if they don't know these 80s movies? They need to do their homework.
Alec Guinness was in Lawrence of Arabia, and he's still Obi-Wan Kenobi to me. That's just up there.
I know. But you still know his name. You don't say the guy from Stranger Things.
No, that's fair. That's fair. But, yeah.
Yeah, you say the guy from Lord of the Rings, and you still want to punch him. So you know.
Samwise Gamgee is the true hero.
Okay, so back to the movie.
Yes. Talk about Goonies.
Precious.
How angry do you think Chunk's parents were at the end when he's just like, okay, Sloth is just living with us now? Are you paying for it?
Can I keep him?
How many?
And
All right.
do Chunk's
I'm
parents
going to bring this
really,
monster home, Mom.
do Chunk's parents really strike you as good parental figures to begin with?
They don't care.
I mean, look at his confession scene. This guy's a horror show.
You know he's a latchkey kid.
Oh
He's
yeah.
got some problems.
Rings true.
He grew up in the
See,
80s. You're a
Dad,
latchkey.
I'm bringing
Yeah,
home
you're a
an
latchkey
adult
kid.
man to live with us. Is that okay?
Yeah, you see, here's the thing. Chunk's not moving in with, Sloth's not moving in with Chunk's family. Chunk is moving in with Sloth.
That works.
That's the 80s sitcom that we didn't get. Chunk and Sloth.
Perfect. Can't you
Chunk
see
and
the
Sloth.
title? Chunk and Sloth.
I'd watch that.
Or Chunky
I
Sloth.
agree that the line about the octopuses being very scary is actually funnier because they cut the scene out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Because they have this, because there was originally a scene where they fought the octopus, and that line has never made any sense, but it's so much better without it. Especially if you see the
Great,
scene.
but the Cyndi Lauper video, you get everybody from the movie plus all those wrestlers showed
Plus
up.
Captain
Oh my gosh.
Robin.
All the Rock and Wrestling Connection wrestlers. The Iron Sheik, Nikolai Volkov. Respect.
Roddy Piper, Andre was in it.
Andre.
The Sloth was a
All the
wrestler.
jabronis.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sloth was a wrestler. Yeah.
Who was the
And a football player.
Lyle Alzado?
I thought it was Alex Harris or somebody like that.
John Matuzak was Sloth.
Okay.
Lyle Alzado did other stuff. All right, here we go. We can get in it. We'll have a whole Lyle Alzado, John Matuzak panel next year.
Oh, keep making these promises, Joe.
Number 16. Sherman, you have a story about number 16, and that is Enemy Mine.
Ooh. Yes.
So go ahead.
Yeah, this movie was put out the year before my oldest nephew was born. And when he was born, I used to call him nephew, just like Willis Davids called Zamis in the movie. He's dead now, but I still remember that movie fondly when I look back at it and remember that connection between him and Zamis.
Oh, very sweet.
Sorry to bring the panel down. But
No, that's okay. That's sweet.
That's cool.
Enemy Mine is one of those ones where I would love to see the original footage, because they changed directors in the middle of this and started reshooting.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It was who was it? It was Richard Loncrane, and then Wolfgang Peterson took over, and that's why a lot of it got moved onto sets, and everything like that. And I'm just, it's kind of like the Back to the Future. I would love to see what they
Eric
did.
Stoltz.
Eric Stoltz. But I'd love to see where it changed and how it changed. And
apparently, with the suit for Louis Gossett Jr. was just, it was obviously a big rubber suit, and the filming was in Iceland, I believe, and it was like, this looks just like Iceland. It's not an alien planet. So they basically scrapped it all and redid everything. It cost them a lot of money.
I think it made a better movie though.
Yes.
All right.
Oh yeah.
And it was also what's frustrating is that novel, the original Barry Longyear story, would have made a great movie, and then they tacked on like extra crap at the end of it that completely blew it.
Yeah, the structure of the movie is very odd.
Yeah.
Like with the two guys together, and then there's a whole second and weird third act that does feel kind of tacked on.
Yeah. And that's not from the original story at all.
Yeah.
The original novelette was mostly just the two of them, and that was where the meat of the story was.
Right.
Quaid and Gossett just did a wonderful job. The chemistry they developed was superb. And then it went completely off the freaking rails.
So I've never read the original. Was Zamis completely created for the film, or was that in the book too? Did that ever happen?
I don't think it. I think that if I remember right, and it's been a while, because I actually read it after I saw the movie because I was curious, and it's like, wow, this story is so much better. And I'm pretty sure the novelette was really just the two of them.
Yeah, it was just the two on the planet from what I remember.
Yeah.
Because I'd actually read the story first, and I was really excited for the movie.
Okay, here we go. Already pre-rolled. Number 3 is the roll is number 3, and that is The Bride.
Yes.
With Sting as
The Bride.
Sting.
I got to watch this. Yeah. When I watched this movie on TV for the first time, it was on an old black and white TV. It made the movie better. It works beautifully as a black and white classic horror film.
Well, just watch Raiders of the Lost Ark in black and white sometime. I mean, they shot that. They shot that with black and white in mind. I mean, they shot it in color, obviously, but what was it, Douglas Lacombe? He actually shot it with that high contrast look, thinking of what it would look like, and it played. In that way, it works like a 1930s serial adventure too. It looks like one.
It wasn't well received at the time, but I feel like you're making a movie with Sting as Dr. Frankenstein and Jennifer Beals is the bride, and I'm in.
Yeah, and that was probably what the studio thought too. It was very confusing to them that this wasn't a big hit.
Yeah.
Well, I think it wasn't a hit because they decided not to put Sting in blue underwear yelling, "I will kill him."
Well.
So they waited and put that in.
Cracked this case wide open, Gary.
I think studios just never knew what to do with Sting back then either.
I mean, Dune wasn't a big hit, right?
Well, you look at him in Dune, you look at him in Baron Munchausen. I mean, he shows up and he's gone,
I don't think Clancy Brown gets enough credit for this film either.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Good. I like
amazing in this movie.
Clancy Brown never gets enough credit.
I was getting ready to say.
Yeah, I'll go with that too. I'll completely agree with that.
All right.
Freaking phenomenal, and he should be like big. Clancy Brown should be more famous than he actually is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, he's one of the most famous. Oh, it's that guy.
Yeah.
Utility actor. Everybody knows him. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right,
and
Mr. Krebs.
And we're not going to let Gary get away with that impression for very long, by the way.
No. Next up, number 6. Transylvania 65000.
Gina Davis and Jeff Goldblum, right?
Yes.
Now, if I remember correctly, that was the first of 3 movies they did together.
And Jeffrey Jones.
They started dating after that.
Then they got married and then got divorced and
Oh well. Anyway, keep going.
Ed Begley Jr.
Yeah.
It is.
Wasn't that a Richard Benjamin movie? Didn't he direct that?
I believe so. Yeah.
I believe so.
It was definitely a wacky 80s horror comedy that leaned way heavy on the goofy comedy. And I remember even as a kid, I was like, but Gina Davis is a vampire? I'm in.
And Michael Richards is in this. That may have been the first, his first big movie, I think, before UHF.
Yeah.
Well, he was one of the main. He was on Fridays. Was
that's right? Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yes.
He does. There's this recurring bit in Transylvania 65000 where he just puts fake arms and fake legs in doorways, and that is still funny for some reason because he screams this unearthly howl of pain, and everybody falls for it throughout the entire movie. They don't just go, Kramer, stop putting fake legs in the door.
What I remember most about the movie is actually the review that Joel Siegel did on Good Morning America. They just played the Transylvania 65000 bit of the song, and then he went, "Stinks. I'm Joel Siegel," and I'm like, "You really earned your paycheck that day."
Yeah, well, he wasn't a 14-year-old girl. I'd like to see what his daughter said. I bet she loved it.
All right.
What do we got, Joe?
Number 11.
Oh, this one's mine. Return of the Living Dead.
Return of the Living Dead.
Yes. This is the movie that shot a new life into zombie films. This is the one that started the running zombies.
Did you really just say shot new life?
Yes, I did. And I say it like that on purpose.
Are we still talking about The Bride? Frankenstein?
Did it reanimate the genre, perhaps?
Yes, it did.
Resurrect the genre?
Look, stop eating all my time.
Still got 2 minutes. So.
It was on life support. It was on life support, but then some brain waves started.
Somebody keep going, Gary.
Okay, so anyway, it's. I was excited there. It's absolutely funny. It's absolutely hilarious. It's got
hysterical,
but it's also incredibly scary. The Tar Man has become a icon in horror,
right?
Where they got a contortionist who was incredibly thin to do that weird motion stuff. Like I said, it brought in the whole zombies crying brains comes from here. Mm-hmm. Send more paramedics, send more cops. It is of the zombie genre. It is it stands right up there with everything Romero did.
All right, here we go.
Star Trek got the idea for the Tar Man from that?
Sure.
The skin of Armus? The skin of evil Armus from the first season?
So George Romero killed Tasha Yar. Yes.
Yes.
I have a lot to say about the departure of Star, and you don't want to go there with me tonight.
Me too.
Was the weapon fully functioning?
That's not on this panel. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. Let's do number 17. Teen Wolf.
Michael J. Fox, right? Or was that
Yes.
Jason Bateman? Jason Bateman was the second one.
Yeah.
Bateman is Teen Wolf 2.
Yeah,
I actually saw the Teen Wolf cartoon before I saw this movie.
If I remember right, they actually,
I'm so sorry.
remember right, they actually shot this after he shot Back to the Future, but it got released first. Or no,
really?
No, he shot it before Back to the Future, and then it got released after Back to the Future to capitalize on him.
Yeah. They were filming it on the same set.
They filmed it.
They were filming it on the same set. And I remember seeing the thing with Michael J. Fox. He's got all this hair glued on him, and he's like, I wish I was doing that movie. So Eric Stoltz they were still shooting with Eric Stoltz.
That was Back in the Future, right? It was originally named Stoltz, Eric Stoltz.
Right.
Yeah.
I was a bit surprised in this one too because he just embraces the wolf thing. Like he tells everyone about it, about a secret identity.
Everybody.
They don't do that in any other movie.
Right.
Like, don't you think if word got out that a high school basketball team was being led by a wolf,
right?
Word might get out.
National
people
attention,
might
maybe?
show up. Maybe the sports commission would come talk to them because they're clearly cheating. Like everyone's very blasé about werewolves in that movie.
You show me where in the rule book it says I cannot have a werewolf on my
Right after I deal with this dog, I'll deal with you.
Yeah. All the other
I'm telling you, the boosters would have capitalized on that. The boosters, the basketball boosters, they'd had T-shirts. They'd have been making bank on that.
Money.
It's also
Go ahead, Mike.
I was about to say, it's kind of fascinating that this movie and Commando were both written by the same people and released in the same year. And it was like 2 spec scripts that they turned in. And one of them went on to have a major career in comics and both on television and at Marvel Productions. So Jeff Loeb was one of the co-writers of this film.
I didn't know that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
One of the rare appearances of Tim Darby.
Yeah. So and the reason why it feels like a comic book is it's written by a guy that really likes comic books.
Well, I still think this has got one of the best deadpan takes of anybody. You know, it's like an explanation is probably long overdue. You know, when the dad.
I accidentally shut off the quack early, but the time.
You won't understand, Dad. You won't understand.
Yeah, the dad was great.
All right, number 12 is the next role. And speaking of Commando, it's Commando.
Yes.
Did you know Jeff Loeb wrote this movie?
To the chest, you know,
Kevin, go.
horrible puns. You know.
So I have a couple interesting stories about this movie.
Okay.
When it was originally being written, they had in mind having it be, among other things, Nick Nolte as the star, which makes it not when is he going to save his daughter, but if. At one point, he had the idea of making it an ex-Mossad agent, and they were going to cast Gene Simmons. And Gene Simmons took a meeting and said no because of how bad. What was that other movie he did?
Rejack?
Any of them.
With Tom Selleck.
All of them.
Run.
Yeah,
It's Run something.
Runaway.
So
the joke was when they cast Arnie, the question was when is he going to save his daughter, and the answer was about 10 minutes before the film ends.
He still could have played a Mossad agent. Like, in the 80s and 90s, they never cared that Schwarzenegger was a giant Austrian. He just played whatever.
Yeah.
All-American Dad and Jingle All the Way. Let's not mention the fact that he's a 6'3" bodybuilder.
It's all good.
Twins with Danny DeVito. They don't.
Well, that was the whole gag.
That
was the gag.
They leaned into it there.
Yeah.
But Commando is definitely the movie that locked in the persona, I think, of Schwarzenegger and his movies. The puns, the over-the-top action. And it's actually still, it's not a good movie, but it's a fun movie. You know, the whole, you remember Silly how I promised I'd kill you last? Yeah, I lied.
Boom.
And Dan Hedaya is the bad guy. I mean, of 80s action films, I would not think great bad guy would be played by Dan Hedaya. I mean, he's a great actor, but I don't see him in the action milieu.
Well, he had played an electroid in Buckaroo Banzai the year before, so he was sort of on a tear as a bad guy. So and then he was Nick Cortelli,
one of the bad cops
there you go.
in the cop.
He was the bad guy in Blood Simple too. One of them. Not an action movie, granted, but
I was in the Army when this came out, and we were all sitting around watching this thing, and when he put the grenades on his vest by the pins, I was like, "Oh dear God, what did he just do?"
All right, number five, and this is a little inside baseball for you. You have no idea how long me and Gary argued about whether to put this on 5 or 13. This is kind of the 13th.
I didn't think about it. Okay.
So every story, every movie, every book, everything has a theme. It has something that the story explores, that the writers really dive into. And the theme of Friday the 13th Part 5 is, don't poke Tommy because he will jack you up. He will throw you in a table, and he will beat you like you owe him money. This is my favorite Friday the 13th movie of all time, simply because it's the only one that contains any kind of martial arts. Not good martial arts. No, but any.
I have no memory of this movie.
It's interesting because it completely breaks the formula, but also plays completely into the formula. You know, it's not Jason; it's somebody else.
Oh.
And it has like the collection of kids that are together, but they're not right. And it's kind of sweet in places because you got like the older brother showing up, and well, of course he gets killed. But no, this is
spoiler.
That's
of a
Too
movie.
soon.
Okay, fine.
5 years old.
But really, it's kind of like when you look at 4, 5, and 6 together, it's like the meat in the middle of the Friday the 13th franchise, and actually kind of like Nightmare 3, 4, and 5, but better, because that didn't end well. I really think that the exploration of Tommy as a character is done extremely well in this movie, and is completely just thrown away in the 6th one.
Yeah, and just as another piece of fun trivia, the opening sequence of The Nightmare with Corey Feldman. Corey Feldman was supposed to be in the movie more, but he just signed to do a different movie, so they only had him for like a day, and they filmed it in his backyard.
Mm-hmm.
Like just like now, it's just like movies now. People are filming in their backyards.
All right. We have we have 4 more, and number 19 has just come up, and that is Weird Science.
I love it.
But we got copyright.
I love it, but it could not be made now.
It's not going to hold up today.
It has
No,
not aged well
not at all.
No.
She is total
Robert
wish
Downey
fulfillment.
Jr. I mean, who
Anthony
knew back then?
Michael. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I was about to say what John was saying. It's amazing to watch Robert Downey Jr. in any of the movies that he did around this time, like this and Back to School, because he's a bit player, but he completely sucks up all the air in the room when he's in a scene.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, the guy that played Wyatt isn't really using up the charisma.
Wasn't it? I mean,
What again, John?
We live in a world now.
Saying the guy who played Wyatt isn't exactly, he's not really clogging up the screen, so there's plenty of room to act around him. So it's that guy.
Who ended up on the Superboy television series, by the way.
Yeah.
And Robert Downey Jr.'s friend was what was his name? Something Rustler. He ended up on Babylon 5. It's the guy that killed off in the 2nd season because the studio forced Joe to add this character.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Robert Russell, his name.
It fits into that nerd wish fulfillment thing that the 80s did so well that now we look back on and go, well, that's slightly problematic on a number of levels.
Yeah, slightly problematic.
Bill Paxton, though. It's worth it for Bill Paxton.
It is.
He was in
He was the older brother.
Bill
That
Paxton.
was perfect.
Yeah.
My
Chris
name is Chet.
And Kelly LeBrock, I love Kelly LeBrock.
Cummins, show us the action figure
There
that
he is.
you.
There it is. Chet.
I'm so jealous. They were sold out before I could buy one of those, Chris.
Perfect.
Who made those? When did they make those?
Super
7, like
Super
last
7
week.
made them like.
Super 7.
Yeah, it was this year.
Comic-Con.
Oh, fudge.
Boingo Boingo did the theme song.
Yes.
Boingo Boingo before
That
Danny
actually-
Elfman really
that's-
took off, huh?
That's actually worth mentioning. It's this movie that's pretty much responsible for Danny Elfman's career as soundtrack guy.
Yeah.
Because they hired Oingo Boingo to do the theme for this, and it's what got Danny Elfman started doing soundtracks.
Yep, and then Tim Burton.
There's
And
another movie on this list that's a little more important for that. Yeah.
And ironically enough, Oingo Boingo is in Back to School too, so it's like he was following Robert Downey Jr. around.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Who wouldn't? Exactly. All right. Next up.
Danny Elfman did the music for Back to School as well.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I didn't remember that.
Next up, number 4, Rocky 4.
All right, Chad, you're up.
Listen, we
Philadelphia.
all know Rocky.
That's all I
We all know
remember.
Rocky ended the Cold War. That's fine. We all know what Paulie did with that robot. We don't speak about that. There are ladies present. But what I love about Rocky 4 is that it is the peak. It is such hubristic, indulgent filmmaking. Like it's Rocky's the original Rocky's a great 70s drama. Rocky 4 is nonsense, but it's so good. And the montages are ridiculous and should never happen. It is just cinematic, it's disgusting in a way. It's excess. But I wanted to point out, Stallone believed in him so much that he had Dolph Lundgren actually punch him. And he had to be rushed to the hospital with a swollen heart. Because Stallone is a writer and an actor, not a boxer, not a Vietnam vet. He's an actor. And he wanted the punches to look real, so he legitimately had to go to he swole his heart, he had to go to the emergency room. It is my favorite bit of overindulgent 80s filmmaking. That's all.
Before after he said, "I must break you."
That's right.
He did break him. I don't know.
He broke him.
Yeah.
He literally did break him.
In one of the quarantine panels, I put forward the theory that this is Rocky the musical, because they literally stop to have musical numbers, and those musical numbers play into the story. They're diegetic to the story.
Montages.
When he is driving to No Easy Way Out and is remembering the movie, he remembers something he didn't see.
Yeah.
Right. At the end of Rocky 2, Marion has to stay home because she's sick. And so when Rocky says, "I love you" on TV, she goes, "I love you." And then he remembers her saying that on the couch alone.
Right. Brilliant.
During the montage. It is so sloppy, but it's awesome.
He was reviewing the nanny cam footage later on.
Apparently so. Yeah, that's a whole other creepy idea.
And I think we can agree as a people that "Hearts on Fire" is the best workout song of all time, of any movie, of anything. And let me tell you, when you finish your workout to that song and run outside and yell "Drago" over and over again, they will call the police.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
You talk about the montage. I assume you're speaking from personal experience.
I cannot talk about it due to pending litigation, but yes.
There's an NDA.
All right, what's up next?
All right, we got two more, ladies and gentlemen. Number two.
I mean, musical
Number two is where is it on the die?
Oh, yeah.
You're not even rolling anymore.
Williams,
Somebody
left.
All right, number two. Remo, the inappropriately titled Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins.
2/3 into the movie is when the adventure begins.
Another movie that would be problematic to make today.
Yes, having
yeah.
Having the mentor.
He's fantastic. I mean,
So Captain Janeway is in charge of reminding everyone that sexism is a thing, and Joel Grey, who is a Tony Award-winning Broadway actor and singer, amazing person, plays. I watched this movie again today, and he is so sexist and so racist.
Yeah.
And at the age of 16, I was like, "Oh my God, this movie is so full of cool stuff going on." And at my current age, I'm going, "Oh my God, this movie is so full of inappropriate dialogue and crap." It is a fun mid 80s. Almost, it's like, again, it's a movie with no martial arts in it, even though the mentor is a Korean shunju master.
Right. Yeah,
we have Wilford Brimley as a spy master.
Yes.
Rest in peace.
You can't pronounce the word "chun" for some reason. No,
yes.
It's like everybody else but the two guys that are supposed to be martial arts masters are martial arts masters in it. It has one of my favorite bit player martial arts guys from the 80s, Patrick Kilpatrick. He's the guy with the diamond in his tooth.
Yeah.
He was in like a bunch of but this movie, it's just I remember watching it as a kid and loving it, and then watching it as an adult going, okay, they say the adventure begins, but the adventure really doesn't begin until like 10 minutes before the film ends. And it's one of those things where we love everything about it, but if you actually try to like break it down as a story, you will go insane because there is no story.
But you've also but how cool is it? How cool is it that this movie has the world's smartest Doberman pinschers ever? I
guess that's something.
I grew up with Dobermans, and Dobermans are smart, but they're not that smart. One of them figured out how to climb up the stairs, and then the other two jumped up and bit onto the stairs and lowered the stairs and climbed the bathroom.
Stairs down.
And then the best bit is when the Doberman is on the tightrope, going, following him across the electrical wiring.
All right, last one. Last one, everybody. I'm pretending to roll it.
You've been pretending to roll all night, Joe.
Yeah, so you're right. Last one. 15. Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
I know you are.
Mr. Herman. Mr. Herman, you have a telephone call.
Large Marge.
Large
Burton's directorial debut.
Pia Zadora.
Unlike Remo Williams' The Adventure Begins, this actually was a big adventure.
A big adventure.
Yes.
It was great. Remember the Alamo?
Oh,
yeah.
I know you are, but what am I?
And it taught us that the unifying power of music, of how to keep yourself from getting beat up in a biker bar.
And it also
Have you tried it? Have you tried that?
I have tried that.
No.
Okay.
No, I haven't.
Again, I can't talk about it because of pending litigation.
It also taught me It also taught me that a song can be really cool and not have any lyrics.
Tequila, sure.
It has one lyric.
Oh,
one.
Just
that's
the one.
right. That's right. That's right.
Yes, and that one lyric of course is
that female biker.
Who has the better breakfast machine?
Female biker
Doc
was
Brown or
actually
Pee Wee?
Okay. Final question: Doc Brown or Pee Wee? Who has the better?
Who has the better breakfast machine? Doc Brown or Pee Wee?
Pee Wee.
Pee Wee.
Wee.
Yeah, I guess.
Hands down.
Well, we're going to have a Back to the Future panel at some point later on, so we'll discuss the breakfast machines then. But guys, the entire 20-sided die for another sci-fi convention, the Revolution Sci-Fi Convention Technology roller panel for 1985. Everyone who participated, thank you very much. Dragon Con goes virtual. Thank you very much. We will see you very soon. Thank you and good night.
And why didn't we do Real Genius?
You're not cleared for that.